emoji that was like, I'm going to show these men how to do it today. Show the dude lining up. First of all, there's no bishop named Sycamore. I Googled it today. You can't just take a Catholic name of a fabled priest and then a tree and then just cram them together and be like Bishop Sycamore. Check it.
That's the way you make up names. How ESPN is try to just bury this and get it off their
they
radar.
passed the buck to Paragon, didn't they?
How the hell? I mean, this is unbelievable.
Check her out. It works. Good evening, everybody.
Tweeting, like, just Google them. Like, it's
Robert Cohen in the house.
You know the research that we do on a weekly basis?
Yeah.
If anyone would have called us, we would have had. I'd been like, man, there's no Bishop Sycamore, nowhere, no how. There's no
All of
church.
Ohio knew this.
Yeah, I know. They're not a registered. They're not even a school. They're like a gang.
I don't want to sit in front of Benjamin. I don't want to block his view.
All right.
Greg, AGH, Nasda. Good to see you guys.
What's up?
Always.
It is, once again, Tuesday night. I want to welcome everybody to Thank God It's Tuesday. I'm Ken Marangolo on behalf of First Amendment Sports, welcoming Kevin Rico back after an excused absence. But like an extremely, like an awesome reason to be absent. Why don't you tell us about that?
It's nice to be here, man. But, you know, it's football season. It's camp time, and the BS Dogs 11 under team needs somebody to help them out. And I'm not sure how good of a job I'm doing, but I've been out there, guys, and I've been loving it. And these kids are a great group. So it's football everywhere. It feels great after 2 years to be talking about our squad, to be out there with these young guys and, you know, trying to keep the thing alive. So let's talk a little bit about our boys tonight.
Well, first of all, don't forget you got to.
Well, I was looking at him.
Tim
We missed
Strachan.
you last week. I think when you're not here, it's the excitement, it gets a little bit more toned down. We're gonna jack it up. I
gotta
did come
go
out
back
and see
to our-
practice. I love coming out to see practice. The
I
BS Dogs
appreciate
going
you guys.
at it.
I appreciate seeing both you guys out there,
I love
man.
seeing 11-year-olds go 10 personnel, 4 wide.
And get crushed. Yeah. Well, you know, it's week 1. We're going to get there, but we're trying to do something not a lot of 11-year-olds do.
Where was that when I was playing?
I'm saying. Listen, if you want to run it back, I will be your coach.
Okay.
I'll
Can you coach
do whatever.
Luke?
I'll be the manager.
All I'm asking is, can you coach when Luke is coming up?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes.
See, there, done.
We have
On
to go
tape.
back to the old way when you were in between us. Now, don't lean back the whole time, but just occasionally not gonna lean back.
Right.
And it's my fault. I changed up the order, and
It's all right. It's better than totem pole style. That was a weird month.
that was, you know what? Yeah, the water skiing
That was weird.
phase was also.
But
a
the
little
totem pole was just for the
I get lost in
shot.
these conversations.
Well, you were on the bottom,
bit.
obviously.
You were on the bottom, clearly.
Ken was on the middle, and I was on the top.
which isn't
Like,
not the way you would have assumed, but
Yeah. No,
that's
you
the way it
wouldn't.
went.
I've got
No,
crazy
it was.
balance.
I got strong core.
For a
Right,
quadriplegic.
and
It's
Ken
crazy.
knew he wanted to take some of the pressure off, and he did some research on the calculations. And all I know is this: that portobello bruise in the back of your neck seems to have healed up nicely.
All I know is this. I have no idea what you're all talking about. I'm so lost already.
That's really where the
Can we
expression
hit-
"power
start
middle"
over?
came from, Kevin.
What the hell? Where'd this go?
There's not a lot of
Well,
power
You got
middle.
to throw your hands, and the power's in your hips. You know what I mean?
Power middle. Listen, speaking of being in the middle of something ridiculous, the Irregardless episode, as I'm calling it, which you don't have to call
He
it.
doesn't run this by.
I don't.
By the way.
Just the
Ever.
committee.
But he did say
was
we
out.
don't have to refer to it as that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, we don't have to. All right.
I love that the NFL just decided, I think correctly, to minimize, decrease, eliminate preseason action. No problem there. I think we're all on the same page. That's fine. But what I think is like sneaky and genius is that they like kept that schedule the same. So that week is still just like thrown in there. They didn't cancel the week of time and space. They just said you don't have to play a preseason game. They've preserved it. This is still the NFL's week. They could literally do whatever they wanted this week. A, we would watch it and love it, and B, they could their imaginations are the limit to what the NFL could do to us in this week off. Ultimately, I think they're going to add an 18th week of the season, double buy it up, send a bunch of teams to Europe. You get an automatic buy when you come home, and I think that's what they're ultimately going to do. And ultimately, I think we're going to be going on to 2 preseason games at some point.
So opening day on Labor Day weekend has a built-in Monday off. Is what you're telling me?
Yes, and that hasn't been lost on me either, Kev.
The NFL's dangling that carrot this year as we all long for it this Labor Day. I don't know why they dangle a carrot. I don't want a carrot. You should dangle something else.
But let me tantalize you even further. And I don't know.
I'm
Is this
nervous.
table? Can we raise this table too? We might have to raise this table. What about the first week of the season with the Monday off, and the last week of the NFL experience, Super Bowl with the Monday off, I think we're going to ultimately end up there. And if for some reason it's something that is cyclical in nature, or somehow, some way, it's going to happen at some point, and multiple times. Opening weekend Monday off, Super Bowl Monday off, because of the Labor Day holiday and the what is that?
Possible Super Bowl holiday?
Well, no, but no.
I don't know if it's President's Day or Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah,
Day.
it's one of those days
President's
that
Day,
that you have the holiday, and you can just bang right into that. So I think that's pretty cool. Good on the NFL.
Bang right into it.
Bang right into it.
They left a huge opening in the season.
Get right to it.
Yeah, they did. And
Speaking of openings, apparently Bill Belichick doesn't feel like he needs to post any openings for quarterback. He's going to just roll with one. He's like the Norman Dale of the NFL. The referee's like, oh, you can have more guys if you want. And he's like, nope.
My squad's on it.
My team's on the field. Like one quarterback, no net, without a net. Mac Jones without a net. That's what it is.
Hey, I've been the biggest Mac Jones supporter of the three of us.
That's
I
true.
think it's great. I love it. I'm not a Cam hater. I find the whole situation kind of funny, and I'm looking forward to Mac Jones proving a lot of people wrong. I
Well,
think he's going to be a good quarterback.
I appreciate your perspective, and we will see. I'm not certain about anything, but I think Bill Belichick is losing his damn mind slowly. He's gazing into this young man's eyes. He's high-fiving him on the sidelines. I've never seen this type of behavior. I think he's got Tampa Bay envy, and he's trying to make a new Tom Brady as fast as possible. And if he could do it in the lab,
It'll never be fair.
That's being
compared to him.
But you know that him and Saban have been having lunch about Mac Jones for 100 years, and they're trying to. Is he slow as Tom Brady? Yes, he is. Look right here. Is he smart? Maybe. And he's got an arm. He doesn't have that big, huge arm.
Is he as fat of a prospect? Absolutely, he is.
I mean,
and then he can turn into.
He has those titty bombers. I'm not gonna lie. He does.
And he
does. He looks like a French cruller.
He'll be
Cruller.
Crew.
if he can just
Crew.
get.
Cruella DeVille. Yeah. All that shit's cruel.
Meanwhile, that is where Tom Brady started, and now he's married to one of the hottest supermodels on the planet, and he has more Super Bowl rings than he can wear at one time, or been to more Super Bowls than he can. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but let me
Mac
ask you guys
Jones.
this, because the board is picking up a little bit on the schedule thing, and I love it. We're out of season, schedule's fair game, and we're right in the middle of a weird scheduling situation with the NFL. Like obviously this week isn't going to be blank forever. There's just no way in hell that's going to happen. How many players?
It feels so strange.
How many players do we need? So right now we have a 53-man roster. We just went through cuts. We're going to get to some of the guys that we cut, and we're going to get a sense of, there's some guys we cut that we would prefer to have. Does adding games, whether it be to the regular season ultimately or playoff teams, so the season could be longer, what should that roster look like? We have a couple guys in there suggesting. I mean, it's got to be more than 53. You can't ask 53 guys to play, another week of football after they just added a week this year.
I wouldn't mind certainly one at each level, and aside from special teams, 55 seems like the obvious first baseline to start talking here.
Yep.
But I think that number 56 sounds pretty good to me. We understand that these guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger, and the injuries are just devastating. The Achilleses, how many torn pecs? Like, those weren't things that happened in the 80s.
No.
We didn't hear about those things. So, obviously, especially with pandemics and all kinds of stuff. And the cicadas are gone, right? We got like 13, 17.
But the murder
Right?
hornets
for a
are
while.
back.
Yeah, it's true. That's
So we
great.
traded one for the other. Well, let me.
But the part I don't understand how
56.
the money works out too. I mean,
there's plenty of money.
Owners aren't just going to
There's
say,
plenty of money.
I agree with both those statements.
Yeah.
We'll take a lot more
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for sure. I mean,
Three more.
That's
Yeah.
going to be tough.
But that's
right?
a negotiate. The players can also negotiate. They're basically negotiating the right to have another game scheduled. The owners, I think, could pull up in the interest of the game, we're going to add a week to the schedule, and they could do that, and the players would have to suck it up. But I think they'll negotiate the extra players. But let me.
Let me just say this: they did negotiate during the pandemic when we were having quarterbacks playing for franchises that would never ever be there. So obviously, they don't. The owners are a little tight-pocketed at times. So go right ahead.
Well, Ron Rivera essentially addressed. I'm going to put this way so you can also see the board. I'll sort of.
Look at that board.
I'm good. I don't need to see the board.
We're gonna get a monitor. Obviously.
See, it looks great. I'm just gonna tell you this,
The board looks
the
great.
clarity.
Ron Rivera is all about keeping as many offensive linemen as possible. I think he made the point that we played or had 16 guys last year. We've seen more than 16 shuffle through one season on the offensive line. Clearly, if you're going to add games, you have to add an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. I think you also have to add at least one skill player, and at least if you're gonna, so there's your 3 to get to 56. But man, I feel like you need at least another linebacker or defensive lineman in there as well. The guys you would want to keep because you would expect to play them. So, like guys it leads naturally into you can keep an extra offensive lineman. Who that we cut would you keep?
Offensive line?
Yes. Of the guys that we cut, which offensive lineman?
Keith Ismail was a big guy that I felt was going to be a damn good player. He's a great athlete, and he was a 3-time this, that, and the other. And you know what? Bringing in Ty Lawson, we knew that Rivera wasn't exactly thrilled with what he saw from Ismail last year, and he brought his guy in from Carolina to fill a role with versatility that apparently Ismail wasn't, producing. I was surprised by that guy because that was a guy that we brought in, a guy that I thought would help us. Not surprised when Rivera brought in his guy to take the spot, but we talked about that early on. That's a young prospect at a very intriguing position in this league that has 2 more years of rookie deal that we just got rid of to get better. And I appreciate it, but I got to think that guy's going to land somewhere, or else maybe he just wasn't the guy we thought he was when we drafted him.
I have no problem with that. I think you could go back and make the argument for being able to keep a Morgan Moses around. Maybe you make that decision differently if you have an extra spot in money. But ultimately, I don't, a Schweitzer or David Sharp for that matter. I thought, the edge guys.
You want Sharpie?
The old Sharpie.
That's permanent, right?
Has
permanent
Martin
Sharpie.
played the most out of that group that got cut?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's a guy at least on the interior.
All right, what's another offensive skill position player would be the guy who made our roster if we had the extra space?
My man Kelvin Harmon is my answer. I just love the guy. And he came off a tough injury. Who?
Barber.
I think I'd probably either say I'm torn between Jimmy and Antonio Gandy-Golden, only because
Jimmy who?
People's Corner. Jimmy
Well, I thought you said
skill player.
Sorry, you're right. I'm just thinking I'm down to my last player, and I'm like,
Jimmy.
oh, I want
Wait,
Jimmy.
we had
I want
Jimmy?
He would be the guy.
We cut Jimmy.
He's the
Jimmy
guy.
who?
Yeah. So I guess I would
Jimmy.
say either I'll take AGG. I'll give another year to see what he's got.
I think Rivera said today that was a very tough scenario, but he said Cam Sims, what he's done and how he's flourished.
Oh, he wasn't going
camp,
nowhere.
And what he does on special. So they didn't need another big body, but we were talking about which one of these dudes that we drafted were going to get cut. A whole hell of a lot of them got
Would
cut.
you have kept Jimmy Moreland or Jeremy Reeves if you could only keep one?
Ugh. Listen, man, Jimmy Marlin, we just like because we're locals. JMU's a great football program that's won national titles, and we've gotten to see a lot of local guys go play there. There's a bunch of kids we cover that goes there. I love the place. We got a lot of friends that go there. Jimmy Marlin kind of fit the bill around here as a fan favorite. And he was pretty good, but he never really was that. Like, his story was cool. We were all behind him, but I don't know if what we're talking about in production versus being a fan in production are all add up. I don't know. I don't know. But I was surprised.
Jimmy Moreland is going to produce
you guys,
for us.
I was damn surprised to see that he got cut today.
I was
Moreland would produce for us more for us now than, in my opinion, DeAndre Carter, who I couldn't even remember his name before we came on the air.
So how many guys the special teams allowed to keep?
I see apples and oranges there.
The special teams coordinator, if you're Ron Rivera, you go to the special teams coordinator and say, you can stand on the table and demand how many players that I have to keep.
When we're done,
please. One, Kevin?
Well, he did keep one, and he said it was a luxury, and he did say this man was one of the best special teams players in the NFL, which makes him one of the best special teams players on planet Earth. Our boy, who's not a safety or a corner. But Troy Apke, Trap, they say, Ron Rivera said with his own words, I think I have the quote right here.
Yeah.
One of the best special teams players in the league. Yes, keeping him was a luxury, but you need to be good on special teams. Wow.
Both of you guys, especially UT, because you called 20 years of college football and you've seen close-up college football coaches, in particular Beamer, who you got to go down and cover when you called Maryland games. Other guys, obviously Saban and the other big-time coaches, but people who have said, I coach football, therefore special teams is an important part of the game. I'm going to take it seriously. Dick Vermeil did it. Joe Jackson Gibbs did it. Marty Schottenheimer did it. Obviously, Pete Carroll. Successful coaches, Bill Belichick. If they say this, we have to put players out there. You can't just throw everybody out, 11 guys. It's got to be players. And Troy Apke, I want to ask you guys as former players, he was trying to make the team as a safety and be a guy who from a big time program in this league, and he was asked to do that. Did that in any way mentally, do you think, not hold him back, but change the way he approached special teams? Because he's approaching special teams a lot differently right now than he ever did on our roster. Is it just a mindset change? Like, this is who I am, this is what I have to do?
I think it's a professional decision.
Okay. My man, it
I
makes
think
sense to
he
me.
said, if I want to keep playing football, I've got to be good at this, because this is sometimes going to be the make or break of whether I make a couple million or go find a regular job.
So he comes out of college at Penn State as a combine guy, and yes, he was a good player at Penn State, but he never really shone out. And
Right.
at the combine, this dude is freakish. I mean, his speed. You remember Deion Sanders coming out to hug him after his 40? Like, he was like, "Yo, man, you just busted a 4.3, whatever the heck it was." And he came out on the show live to show. So Mike Martz coached him in an obscure All-Star game where he was the MVP coming out. And Troy Apke, he said, is one of the best athletes he's ever coached coming out of the college ranks. He just never had the fluidity in his hips. He was never a natural defensive back, but he's a freakish human being athlete. And they're going to find a space because speed kills. And a dude that physical, that fast, to figure out what T just said, I want a paycheck. And yes, I'm not a naturally hip swiveled cornerback, and I struggle at safety at times. But that is a physical cat who can get down the field and make plays for a team. And you know what? We love guys like that in the 80s. Guys like that don't exist these days, but he does now, for now.
And I think there's a theme with Ron Rivera since he's got here, is certain guys have a mindset of being coachable, being responsible for making themselves better. And if they go about it a certain way, those guys, they're going to find ways to keep those guys on the roster, which is, I think, what we're saying about Apke.
And they say those guys.
It's been, and he's got a guy like Chase Young, who's the best on the team, as the best example.
Yeah, and they've proven, through
Sammy
like
Reyes.
the advanced
That's why
metrics,
he's on the team.
A
There's
guy
no
like
other
that,
way.
a guy like that gives you like 3.5 to 4+ yards of field position per drive, which a lot of people will scoff at or say, "What does that mean or matter?" Like the
We're
best
just looking
football
for a
coaches,
couple inches. You're talking yards over
yeah,
here?
the best coaches in the league know stuff like that, and it, shockingly. When you're winning a game of yards by inches, it's because of little things like that. Yet another, he can call it a luxury, and I think to him, because he sees himself always as being in the conversation to compete for something meaningful. But we know, and T and I kind of semantically walked around whether the rebuild. When your team, we're at a step now where we have the ability to have a guy like Troy Apke because what he does is meaningful and it matters, and I think that is a huge, positive for the organization. Like we talk about the Nationals and the Wizards and the Caps, throughout the year, and I know a lot of these guys have their favorite teams back home, but you always kind of know like where an organization is soft. Unless your team is just like dominating championships. Like the Nationals were, like, they just had no catchers, not at the pro level, not at the minor league level. The Wizards have, a number of holes that they've been trying to fill.
One big, gigantic butthole is the
Yes.
one I noticed.
Yes.
That, you guys know what it looks like.
But the Redskins,
It's been around for a long time.
and then the WFT, they've had they've had holes, and it's not just, it's like, I want to say the word refreshing because it's something we just haven't always done. I think we've occasionally had an awesome special teams player, but it's since we were kids, like Brian Mitchell, guys like that, like we haven't had like a special teams guy, like other teams have guys who like they literally just start special teams. Like we could potentially have that. I think that's fun.
When Ron Rivera got here, he was the master of the one-year deal and throwing everyone into the pit, letting them fight it out, and whoever survived got a spot in the 53. And I love that level, and he's brilliant at doing stuff like that, putting guys in positions where they're fighting for their lives in order to compete, to make the team better. And what he's doing right now with Troy Apke, a guy who's day by day now the special teams luxury. Well, you're only the luxury until you're not. So that dude right now, he's fighting every day, every inch, every minute and second to be on this team. That's the type of situation you want to put some of these guys in, for better or for worse, but it's honest. These coaches know that. Well, he's out here fighting for his life, for his livelihood, for a paycheck 10 times the size he gets when he goes back, I'm imagining here.
Yeah.
And that's a dude that's going to be out there every day. Yes, working on his craft as a D-back, but knowing my whole life depends on my ability to play specials, and I'm one ACL away from being done.
Yeah.
And the passion I'm going to show in this position is going to be. No one gave him a 4-year deal and said, "Hey, you've done it. You're a special teams guy for 4 years. You're a special teams guy for 4 minutes."
That's right.
And I love that sense of
Well,
urgency.
speaking of quickly and fastly, I mean, the cool thing about what he does, especially when he's covering punts, is be fast. And the guy who's, even if it's two guys covering a gunner, yeah, they can put their hands on him and be physical, but the chances of him matching of another team putting a guy on him in the on the punt play that has any chance of keeping up with Troy Apke, just pure speed wise, it's like 95+% chance that guy's slower than Troy Apke.
I know.
So like that's huge, and he does have that safety mentality and can tackle, which leads me into my our next spot on the team where we kind of cut down.
Did
strike
Apke
that
play for Bishop Sycamore?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
he
what
played
you're
for
about
Bishop
to say?
Sycamore, where
God
we
dang it.
did not cut down. It feels like we added bodies, which is the safety position. It feels like we have nothing but safeties, which I love. We'll talk a little bit about the guys.
Makes you feel nice and safe.
Yeah, I feel super safe with this team, and I think we're gonna get freaky with safeties this year. And we,
He said it.
He did.
we have 5. They're gonna.
He's banging it right in with freaky safeties.
We're banging it with freaky safeties. We're gonna have multiple of them on the field at the same time. Keep your eyes open, Kevin. You'll know this, and you'll see it right away, and you'll be able to confirm it's true. I'm thinking early on 4 of those guys might be on the field at the same time. Maybe not week 1 or 2, but 4 of those guys can literally play in our backfield on the same play, depending on what they want to do.
Versatile. They're all versatile. I love that Forrest made the team. Listen, there's going to be plenty of Buffalo nickels coming off this spot. DeShazer Everett, we love. He hits like a truck. He's been one of the longest tenured guys on the squad. I mean, come on, man. These guys have Landon Collins, we know, can come down and move back. We understand what Cam Curl can do. He also can play the Buffalo nickel because he did. And we're going to have a ton of guys that can just move in and move out.
McCain, he can play the ball. He can play ball.
Yeah, McCain can play corner if you have to. I mean, in a pinch.
And he's a natural free,
Yeah.
which is great, which is awesome because Landon Collins is not, and he can stick people, and
And the beauty, guys, of this, a proper non-pandemic offseason for Rivera and Del Rio and the staff, because I don't care how versatile you wanted to be in the last, you couldn't have X amount of, it was just a mess. We all know it. This offseason, I think, just pays dividends for the good guys. All these guys trying to fit into these places and all these different roles. You need the time to gel, and you need the guys like Landon Collins, the vets, that have to be there to show you where to be. Now that he knows, I think that's very
freaky
important.
safe. The board is picking up on some things I'm saying.
It's
but I
true.
want to say welcome back to James Rainey.
You've said them because you've been saying
I have
welcome
said them.
back, James.
Haven't seen him, and we I know that. Happy to see you back, James. Good to have you. James is actually he's helping us out. He's got a couple things in the works that
I love
will
hearing about this.
benefit our show. So we'll keep everyone posted, but. Good things happening from a good group of folks, and I see him in there.
It's an excellent group of folks. That's a fact.
All right, so we got a lot of safeties. That's okay.
Safety dance, baby.
You know what? And it hasn't been lost on people who hate us keeping Troy Apke because they only see him as a guy who couldn't crack our safety room. It's not like we just kept 5 safeties. We also kept Troy Apke, and we're calling him a quarterback, that's special teamer. But that's like six safeties, really, that we have on our roster. And Kaliki Hudson, who is a linebacker of only 4 linebackers, which is where I'm going next. We almost have no linebackers, and one of those 4 linebackers is also Buffalo nickel and is also playing, in that hybrid mode. Rivera said he's not done.
Oh, yes, he did. We're not through with that position.
Thank God.
You can't be. 4 linebackers in the NFL is super scary, man.
With
By
a
the way,
rookie,
hole.
with a rookie
That
in the
screams
middle.
hole in your organization. That's a hole. When you only have 4 linebackers, you have a huge hole.
Is Rivera and Del Rio just going to just strap on burgundy and gold?
Oh.
Is that the statement to follow?
They have eligibility left. They have a couple of years.
I wouldn't want to hit either one of those gentlemen.
No chance.
Shit.
We're gonna and I think that ties in probably to our tight end situation, because with 4 tight ends, while Rhett obviously is a big fan of that, I think
Who isn't, Rhett?
ultimately there's some room to ungrow at the tight end position, because listen, Ricky Seals-Jones, to me, I hated he's like that guy.
He's got some loose ends.
He's bounced around the league, which I normally have no problem with. Now all of a sudden I'm a snob. I only want my team to have like, but he hasn't been really like special in this league, and everyone wants to talk about how good how professional he's been this summer.
You can't make a hoe a tight end.
For God's sake.
Good God.
He's just huge. He's a huge guy. Congratulations, but to me, I'm preparing the paperwork for his release with his name on it, and I got it in my desk drawer because as soon as I see a linebacker I like,
for a linebacker to be named later.
No offense to RSJ.
I think him, DeAndre Carter. I don't know why. I don't have anything against him. I just don't know why he's on our team. And one of the safeties.
You hate not knowing him.
All three. I know.
None of us
You hate-
know.
I don't.
him.
All
We know who
three,
he is.
You
all
mean I don't know who
three
you are?
Of them, I think, are the most likely to be shuffled.
Yeah. Oh,
in and out.
the deck of 51 or 53 is not complete at all. The 52 is not. I mean, yes, the shuffling is happening.
And maybe you hang on to these guys in some way, shape, or form as a business because if you hold on to them long enough, then they don't get picked up or cleared waivers because everybody's kind of got their stuff set.
Yep.
And, I don't know.
And you have
speculating there,
16 practice squad spots, and of those 16 spots, you have a carve out for an international guy, which I think we
That's
can
a
figure out.
shit
We
ton
have.
of practice.
And
squad.
it's a shit ton. That is also the hidden thing. Like that's why you
They
know
should
they're
play a minor league practice squad.
That's why they're going to change the rules to give us more roster guys for longer season. Rhett,
I think this is a scene I've seen before from a dirty movie. I think
Rhett's
that
creeping up on us. He's
there's a
actually
guy
crawling on
climbing.
the floor.
Oh, Rhett.
Be happy you cannot look down.
Yes. Good
Be
Lord, that
very
was
happy.
Don't
disturbing.
want to see what's happening
So-
down there.
Six
That's
players.
podcast.
I think 6 of the 16 practice squatters can have up to as many as 6 years in the league, I believe, and I think that's RSJ. So I think it's possible he could be on a practice squad. Which, by the way, if he ends up on a practice squad, I flip 180 all the way back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he is a legit practice squatter. I love having him on our practice. If RSJ is on our practice squad, I feel pretty darn good.
You have a lot of thoughts that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying are right or wrong. I'm trying to embrace
No,
and
don't.
understand.
Don't get in there.
But
Don't
I
go.
want-
Don't
but
go in there.
do you want to get in there?
I
No,
mean,
I don't.
I'm trying if you can maybe
Sit,
see
Uber, sit.
right
Don't
across the
without
bottom of your
seeing that.
screen. Red's
Good Red.
crawling across left to right across your radio dial. I would say RSJ. So here, then let's talk about the
You call him RSJ, by
elephant
the
in
way?
the room. I don't call him anything. I change it up every time.
Seal? I just call him Seal.
Ricky Seal Jones. The Samus Reyes keep. I love it. We've talked about him being a monster.
I
of
don't
a
think
specimen.
we've talked about him enough.
Well, okay, so that's right. But I will say I think the fact that you keep 4 tight ends to me says we're afraid if we dropped him, someone else is going to take him, so we don't want to lose him.
That's
but
true.
We know he can't play now, so we have to keep 4 guys.
I don't know if that's true. I think Ricky Seals Jones is just a name, like T said, to be crossed out.
Okay.
I mean, really, 4 tight ends and Ricky Seals Jones is going to be the difference maker as our 4th tight end. I get a rookie backup and a rookie backup
Yep.
allows this, and that's true. And I do believe that. I also believe that Seals Jones is gone, and I don't think that you can't keep either of those two. You can't put Samus on the practice squad, obviously.
You can't put him
Keep
on
going.
the
Can you put him on the field right now?
I think so because he's a burly ass dude. He's just wrecking. He has got the strength. He doesn't even understand what he's got. That's Samson strength. That's
He's built like
The article I
stone.
read today on him, you immediately become a fan of his. I think it fits again into something I said earlier in that he's a guy that Ron Rivera feels kind of like with a Lombardi mindset. I got guys who are going to do whatever I tell them to do as hard as they can do it. That's the kind of guy I think wins
Right.
championships.
That's
And,
exactly what. Yeah.
sounds like this is what Sammy Reyes is doing. He's not a football player at all. I don't even think he is now.
Wait, but can I ask?
But he's
so
becoming one,
he's-
and they love the way he's becoming one. And
Oh,
they
he's
say,
a
just-
football player.
he's a football player.
He's
wait.
he was always a
Just wait.
football
Well,
player. He's just
you
figuring that
understand what I'm
out.
saying, right,
Yes,
yes.
they're just all figuring this out.
That's the
yes.
cool thing about
Exactly.
about him is because you look at the NFL, and as much as we think, and it's a worldwide game because the whole world, the NFL is global, but it's not. It does. There's not like soccer where there's a professional league in every single country, or even basketball, which has very good professional leagues all around the world. This guy is a physical specimen. He's super athletic. I mean, you hear the word Chilean, professional basketball player, and the last thing you think of is an elite physical specimen. He was born to play football. He's from Chile. He has no idea. No one told him. Oh, by the way, you should be
He
be a football
tried
player.
one day
Oh.
in high school. He tried one day and was unbelievable. And there were apparently college coaches high-fiving on the sidelines,
Yeah.
going, "Where did this guy come from?" And the next day he said, "I don't want to play it. I came here to play basketball."
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It
And
got
that, and
delayed.
that's,
I mean,
that's
the
man
guy's
with the
story
vision.
is ridiculous. His story is ridiculous.
I
But
love it, and I want to say this, T.
That's why he's
of,
here.
Of all the years that we've witnessed,
Disney is all over it.
Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates and basketball players come master this tight end position as college basketball players, which is shocking to me, which is amazing. We've kind of understood that that's the trend. We haven't seen a dude come from a basketball court and just start gripping up NFL athletes and manhandling them.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone about it the whole different way. Yes, he has the athleticism to run the routes. Catching the ball, hope we'll get there properly.
He has
and
the
run-
want to.
But none of these dudes, none of those specific ridiculous athletes that dominated college basketball, which is good enough athletically to put you in the top 99th percentile, to come over to the league and be able to run routes and catch is one thing and learn how to block. This dude is a mauler, a beast at the line of scrimmage. He is manhandling the most physical athletes on planet Earth. And then we're going to figure out the other stuff catching. That's such a different. That's why I don't think we've talked about him enough. I've not seen a tight end come in from the basketball court and start just cracking heads out there.
You know who he is? So he's like the NFL's version of that guy who you walk into a gym to play like a pickup game with, and you're like, I'll take that guy. And you're like, oh, I'm going to own this guy. I'm going to, I got this guy. Not that, just that guy. Obviously, in the NFL, everyone's big and strong, so he doesn't stand out as being big and strong. If you show up to a pickup basketball court and you're like, hey, who do you got? You're like, I got the guy from Chile. And you're like, oh, I'm going to the guy from Chile. I'm going to own this guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. And all of a sudden, every single play, he's working you down low, shouldering you in the chin, elbowing you down. It's
chilly in here, baby.
And then you think, I'm going to run out ahead, and all of a sudden, he's right there with you. And he's just that guy. He's gonna stick because he can play football. He's big and strong and has the want to. That's just the end of the story.
I would
he's
love
gonna
to
play.
see you call out Sammy Reyes in a basketball game.
I was going to say,
Not
who's the
Reyes,
dude that walks into the gym that
specifically.
Ken's like, I'm about to drop 35 on your ass?
I have a lot of confidence.
I thought you were going to do the old donkey field goal kicker that kicked 105-yard mule kicks that my schoolmate
No. And I'm not saying Sammy Reyes specifically.
Millimeter.
Just the guy that you say, oh, he's got to
That
scratch.
makes a little bit more sense.
Just that, whoever that guy is, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die. I can't play one more possession. This guy I can't shake this guy.
This dude is 6'5", 230, rip cold steel with 0% body fat. If he walks into a gym and I'm there, I'm thinking I got 37 seconds to get the hell out of here into my car.
That's what I'm saying. In football, he doesn't stand out as much because physically speaking, there's a lot. I'm saying saying the equivalent of a guy that you would take on the basketball court.
Agreed, and that's why he's bullying.
Not 6'3".
He's bullying everybody. He's pancaking everyone he gets his hands on. He's driving.
Guys who are trying to block him are bouncing off.
He's a rock.
They're like, whoa! I just tried to hit that guy, and I just ended up 5 yards the other way.
Which one is up or stalactite or mite? But if he's at Luray Caverns and you run into him, you're going down. You're going down. I don't know what the whole thing was.
Somebody get on that real quick.
Yeah, well,
Hold the Mayo. We held the Mayo also, which we have guys on the board who are big. We had a David Mayo fan club on the board last week. I shit you not. There was David Mayo.
I have so many questions.
Texas State Bobcats. Our man Sean Ashman. He was on the board last week. I don't know if he's on right now. We'll see if he is. If he responds. We've had a little bit of David Mayo coverage. Listen, David Mayo. He would be a backup. if we were only keeping 4 linebackers and you're like, what's an extra guy? Maybe that extra guy is David Mayo, but apparently, we're gonna have a chance at somebody different. Linebacker is a hole right now. We're gonna fill it. Let me ask you guys about at cornerback. To me, obviously, we talked about losing Jimmy. The McTire development is cool because, again, the cool thing about McTire, and I watched him in preseason, and he got a lot of time, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, they're saving other guys. He's never going to make the team because who the hell is this guy? Well, apparently, we knew who he was. We had the film on him. He was bouncing around a roster or two in his first couple years, and the day after he was released, and I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to say Miami, but I could get it wrong. He was somewhere last year, and he got released. The day we signed him to a futures contract, and the fact that he then has a good camp and makes the team, and I don't think anyone's making the team to make we're not going Bruce Allen, Vinny Serrato style, where we just keep everyone we sign so we make ourselves look smart. Ron Rivera, if you don't want him, he's not going to keep him. sign a guy to a futures contract the day he became available, which tells me there's people in the scouting department said, got to get this guy. He can do some things, and I think he fits into your way of playing. That we do.
Yes.
Sign him to a futures contract. Give him a chance. He gets the chance. He takes advantage of it. He makes the team. Jimmy Moreland's on the street. That's an awesome story.
Well, Stroman's on the street. Danny Johnson's on the street.
Yep.
He cleaned up that room and got rid of some old heads, and whether or not they were just perennial 5th, 6th guys. But that's true.
It's a subtle observation on my point. It kind of went along with one of the articles I saw today, what you're all saying. And what I saw in this article was we're letting guys go that we actually depended on. And in some respects, depended on quite a bit to take a lot of snaps. We're now saying, all right, appreciate it. We got better guys now that we have chosen, and that, again, I think fit a similar mold. That's what I'm seeing. And I think that's great with your point last week of where the direction of this whole thing is going. I think it's being elevated. The talent's elevated. The size, the speed, everything just feels like it's been elevated from what we've been accustomed to for the last 3 or 4 years.
The majority of a 7-9 roster isn't untouchable. I mean, we've been here a million times where you don't get wins. Now, do I think last year was a success story? 100% it was. But we were 7-9. We did struggle. We did some things that teams in the first year of a rebuild does. We had some messes to clean up on a weekly basis. There was drama, but the fact that the decisions that have been made, and I can't, like, I just always come back to it. All the way back, you cut a guy, you put a first-round draft pick in at the most important position on offense, and you say, we're done. We're done here. I mean, that was huge, and all the things that Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, and Jason Wright, and now Marty Herney are up to. It seems like there's purpose, and at 7-9, there's just a lot you can get away with changing because no one's going to be like, oh, you can't change this. You're like, why? We were 7-9. If you guys remember, we were worse. We were like 3-13 and 4-12 and 5-11 in some meager like Jay Gruden years and prior.
If you guys remember.
You guys remember.
I forget very quickly.
And
a lot of stuff.
People, we'd go for the off season, and people were like, all right, we can build around this. We got a core we can build around. And you're like, the core of what? Like the core of what? The core of 3-13? Really? There's a core of that? Like, because if there's a core of 3-13, I think that's what we should get out of here.
Fletcher was our core.
Of course, he's a core of a football team. But the core of what 3-13 is all about, I want to that's what we should lose.
Well, you
Chase
would always
Young
think
is our
there'd be
core now.
cornerstones.
No offense to the
Four cornerstones, not just a core.
Yeah.
And Chase Young certainly is a pillar. Not only just of the team, of the community, and gosh, he loves being here. I love him. You know what, man? Thanks, Chase. Thanks for being Chase. Thanks for being the face. Thanks for just getting on Family Feud the other night and dominating.
Chase Collins,
I mean, he just took care of business on Family Feud.
Chase Collins is London.
Chase Young
in a Hulk outfit. It's just a much bigger, battered version of someone like that. That we've been accustomed for the last 20-some years. Everything's elevated. Everything's a little bit better now for some reason under
We're
Rivera,
levitating.
And I'm giving him all the credit.
Dua Lipa
right now.
and the baby,
Yeah.
Come on. I'm going to keep this going. Listen, man, it's been a summer of pop for me. I don't care how you guys feel about that. I know it has been for you, too.
I got a 13, 12
You've embraced it,
girls.
though. No, but see, I've embraced it. I've embraced it, and I know you have as well. I individually adore it. It's not just because of my kids.
I used to be able to predict the top 40.
Let me see if you guys.
It's unbelievable.
Let me see if you guys can hear this. We're gonna get copyright infringed like a mofo on this, but I'm gonna give it to you anyways.
Well, that's good. This was a fun show. Bye, guys.
Come on and infringe up on these.
Yeah, I'm ready.
20 seconds on the clock, please. Name something that probably has your middle name printed on it.
Birth certificate.
How many bathrooms are in a movie star's mansion?
10.
Name a piece of jewelry that a man might own 2 of.
Watches.
Fill blank with one word. Rocky blank.
Balboa.
Name some place a golfer doesn't want his ball to land.
T. Name someplace a golfer doesn't want his ball to land.
In the sand?
Mm-hmm.
Water.
We got 170 something.
All right, here we go.
He
Name something that
He crushed it.
He crushed it. It was ridiculous.
If I could hit the pause button, I would have given you more opportunities, T. That was just.
I watched it live. I don't want to. I couldn't.
Of course.
My man was dominant. And by the way, the old heads across and the guys that Everyone.
Well, I mean, he went to the
everyone
math.
gravitates
Obviously,
to him.
smart.
Let me ask the guys on
That
the
was
board.
never
Could you
the
hear that,
question.
Greg? Could you hear that? Robert Cohen said he was like, it was 179. He was watching it as well. Could you hear? If you could hear it clearly, we can do that segment more often. I was trying to get the sound right, but maybe
He
Greg.
killed it. The way he composes himself. I looked out there and I was like, that's our guy. How many times? London
Did
Fletcher.
you hear
and
it
who
though
else?
on this?
All right, Alex Smith, but I don't know if he was our guy. He's everyone's guy, and we had him, and we were lucky for it.
Yeah,
But
I love
but
Robert. I love
London-
London. I mean,
I know, but guys that were on TV that actually
think
got
what I was
love
saying is
nationally, that also
John
handled
Riggins.
themselves.
Well,
Yeah, but he did it a
so we're
different
doing
way.
post.
He did it a different way.
In the last 25 years, we've had guys that are professionals, but we've had
Yeah.
like one,
Yeah,
maybe
not a
two.
group.
There is many professionals now on this squad.
There was
And-
not a plethora.
and
Yeah.
and it's a huge difference. It is a huge difference.
Greg Martin. The reason
Whether
Greg,
it's Rivera's old school style.
that
or
was
not.
Chase Young on Family Feud. Sorry, it was a little inside because some people here watch it. A lot of guys on the board watch it. Greg was like, "Why are we listening to a Family Feud segment?" It was Chase Young.
Yeah, it was
on
old school
Faith-
guys
on-
versus the new school
yeah.
guys. It was like, and Deuce McAllister rolled up to the front, and I was like, "Good God Almighty!" Deuce McAllister is about 375. He was
Yeah, there's
no
nothing
longer
Deuce.
eligible. The only draft he's eligible for is a butcher's draft would be my guess.
Yep.
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
man looked all meaty and
Hot
beefy.
dog
Red.
eating
Don't look at me
contest.
crazy. We were talking about hot dog
Donut
eating
shit.
contests
Shop.
earlier. We should probably not do that anymore. I
Do
guess.
me a favor. I didn't say this at the top of the show. I appreciate all you guys for hanging out with us now. Watch this little logo here on the bottom of your screen. Please give us a subscription. It's free. Helps us out. We appreciate that. Give us a like. Man, I'll tell you what, we crushed it on likes last week, Kev. I mean, I think it was probably because we got a little extra tea in the show. And, every time there's more tea, we get more likes. We had
Sure.
double-digit likes last week. We
bring the
appreciate that.
lady-
If you're watching right
bring
now,
the
please
lady-
click the like. It takes 10
Bring
seconds.
the ladies.
T
He
brings
brings.
the ladies.
He also brings the ladies. I
Hold
didn't,
up.
I didn't want to be the
My
one to say
cousin
it.
just took a
Thank
screenshot.
you, everybody. Appreciate
My
it.
cousin just took a screenshot, so I bring the cousins.
You definitely bring
Shout
the
out
cousins.
Timothy Ricca, give me a nice compliment.
Well, you have 150 of them.
Well, listen, I didn't say that all of them are nice, but my man Timothy is.
Oh,
I mean,
he's
I'm
the
just
best.
saying. No, they're all
Along with the
incredible.
rest
It's the best part of my. Hey, man, when you get to have like family, friend, cousins, that's the best. Yeah, they can't ever really dog you. It's so cool. And
You know what? I want to have a thing. Like I hate. I shouldn't say. I shouldn't lead this off with I hate. I have very few like YouTube subscriptions. But ones that I like watch. Like shows that I watch, and a lot of them have gotten like really professional graphics, which I think we're ultimately going to have. The one on the bottom is like, click subscribe, click like, and click the bell so you get a notification when we go live. So. We'll probably have that at some point, but I would like to start something on our show that may be a little bit different, and maybe we'll figure out a way to what to call this. Like, let us do something that makes you laugh, or if you like totally agree with us, or like we said something that you're thinking and like, man, I agree, that I think the same exact thing, or if someone burns someone on amongst us like in an exceptionally excellent way. That's when I want like it to click on you, like hit the like button. Just like let us make you like something to like it. I hate like just being like, oh, like us, and click like. We're gonna give you something to like. By the time when we get off the show,
We're gonna earn this.
We're gonna earn your like. We don't just want to. We don't. I just want to. Don't just want to give us a like.
Shit, I feel like T's about to take his shirt off.
Make
next
us earn
month.
it.
Right around birthday season.
By the way,
You get
I mean,
crazy.
So far, we have
outside of
three likes.
any of the
We've done
women-
3 things.
outside of any of the women that are in some way related to you watching the show, we have like maybe 2.
Nice job.
Yeah.
dude.
I
Oh,
know,
that's
I
pretty strong, man.
Well,
I
that's
didn't.
2
I
more
wouldn't
than
have
any
guessed
of
that.
us
I
have.
just want everybody to know
Yeah.
it was
related.
supposed to be self-deprecating.
Oh,
by
we
the
can
way.
totally be self-deprecating.
But you're
I
very.
don't, I don't
you're-
really bring the ladies.
All right, you're very handsome. guy,
I'm
just
fully
gonna say.
deprecated though.
I feel like you've made this uncomfortable for yourself now.
I don't know how more
we're
deprecated
all
I can
fully
be.
deprecating. If anyone else isn't, and one of us is getting punched in the face, I would imagine. So for all the ladies that love that deprecation,
Bring it on.
and we're all ineligible.
We're
so
all
good luck
ineligible.
out there, ladies. Find someone more deprecating than us. I'm sure you can.
Kevin missed out on our opening segment last week. Not that we'll probably start closing out here, but I didn't want to give him a chance to give me a little bit of shit for the hole in my resume. So everybody has a hole in their
just a
resume
hole,
when it
dude.
comes
It's
to
like-
TV watching. We don't have to relive the fact that I haven't finished The Sopranos yet. I also haven't started it. But it's the hole in my resume. I was gonna say, Kevin, I've taken a lot of heat about it, but I would be interested in knowing: is there a hole in your TV watching resume?
Yeah. So in pre-production, I didn't even want to get in the mix because everyone, I believe, has a hole in their resume. And listen, I know T knows what we should watch and what we shouldn't, and he's not wrong.
He's been filling a lot of holes in the
He's
last
not.
few years.
He has. Remember, he filled that big old Dungeons and Dragons hole, and then he went right to Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
That was a lot of hole filling.
I've been known to do it.
And the Star Wars hole.
Yeah,
the,
there's a lot of
just
holes.
sci-fi hole in general.
Those were never
But
holes.
my point
No.
is, he's not wrong not to give you hell, but my first inclination was to be, I don't know. I'm sorry, because I have a huge hole. And my hole, which everyone has let me know, it's Breaking Bad, dude. The guy from Malcolm in the Middle, next thing you know, he's cooking up meth. Like, I
haven't
just
seen
couldn't
Breaking
get.
Bad.
And then the dude in the
I
first
have it on my
episode,
list,
he's
at least.
chained to that thing, and the dude from Malcolm in the Middle and him are deciding if his life is hanging in the balance. And I can't get over the dentist from Seinfeld, the dude from Malcolm in the Middle, was at this heart of
I know.
and it was so grueling and
And
grinding.
it's
My wife and I have
insane.
tried multiple times to get through the first 2 episodes. We've gotten to 2. We've never finished 2, and everyone loves it. And it's hard because when
It's
your
on my
wife is
waiting
out,
list.
when your wife is out and taps out, it's hard to be like,
Yeah.
no, you're gonna love it.
I get a
Especially
lot
when
of
you're
that.
like, this sicko from Malcolm in the Middle is huffing. He's about to cook up a batch in a trailer in Arizona. Like, I can't.
I'm also very.
That's a
daunted-
hole in
I'm
my
very
resume that
daunted
I
by-
will fill.
I'm very daunted by any of the shows that have more than 4 seasons. I just feel like it's a commitment that is going to
4
really
is the bar. 4 is
kinda.
Is
I
it not
think
3
you
and a
can
half or
whip
4 and a
through
half?
4, better than really investing in like an 8 season.
I
like,
get that. The
a
8 season
Walking
thing is
Dead or
very
something like
intimidating.
that, or, you
I
know,
went Walking Dead.
you know,
I'm
that's
137
just a
and I've
lot.
done
That's a
every
lot.
one.
I
I'm
mean, you're
Walking
committing
Dead.
yourself.
I'm all in Walking Dead, but I'm not sure why.
I may get like a week and a half where I can
I know. I'm testing the copyright gods by
I'm
putting on
gonna
some
yacht
Hall
rock
notes.
the shit out of this Tuesday.
So Sopranos is
Yeah,
considered
by the way, that's
some.
effing ridiculous.
It's effing ridiculous.
It's my top 3.
Dude, it's a lot of people's top
It's a
3.
lot of people's number 1.
But Breaking Bad's a lot of people's top
Agreed.
3.
I've never
And
seen
that's
Breaking
why
Bad.
It's
I-
unbelievable that
That's
you and
why.
I have
I-
2
I
top
agree.
3 shows.
I agree that I should be drug across the coals,
Yeah.
as should
It's only
you.
5
But I
seasons.
also understand everyone has a hole.
That's over 4. Here's the thing: I never saw Breaking Bad. Never saw Mad Men.
Mad Men's not as big of a hole as
some
Breaking
Mad
Bad.
Men for me is
For
not
some
it's not
people, it's a big
hole-ish.
deal.
It's like
It was a
it's
good
like
show, but-
mothball.
Or
It's
The
good.
Walking Dead. I haven't done that.
And Walking Dead, I'm not going to tell you to watch it. It's like such a commitment.
Seems like an
Once you get in, you can't get out, and it's
It
tough,
is.
and it's hard, and it's grinding, it's grueling.
Yeah. See, it's the
Yeah,
long seasons.
yeah.
It is the main reason why it's a
There's
great
a lot
show,
of
but it's also it's
gross
just a lot.
death.
It's really hard to
What
go.
do we got on the board? Greg, not a Breaking Bad fan. Robert Cohen. They're having a little side conversation about this definitely being the Irregardless episode. By the
I
way, it's
get
only
it.
part 1.
No, I get it, guys. No, all your
For
opinions
now.
are correct.
Because of our
I trust
our
every opinion on
conversation.
this board.
Oh,
I
do as
know
well.
that Ken's hole is bad and my hole is bad. I just
My
know that
current
everyone has
hole-
to have a hole.
My current hole is Ted Lasso because I don't get what is it? Apple TV.
Can we
or
just
is
get
it-
through one show without talking about your current hole? Like, just for goodness sake.
Sorry,
One show.
it's current.
One,
It's current
one,
news.
like in my whole
I'm
life.
keeping you up to date.
Your whole life?
My whole
I'm
life.
keeping
Your
you up to date on
HOLE
my
life then.
current
Yeah,
holes.
like-
No W.
You're still
Your
talking about
whole
your
life.
old.
You picked up
He's
on
talking
that.
about his whole
I'm
life.
talking about my whole life.
holes.
Yeah, with an H,
Dude,
capital.
nothing gets by Kevin Ricka on a Tuesday night. That is a fact
Not with sharp fingers like that, talking with an HOLE.
in my whole life. And for the record, I do think it
Not
should be
even know
noted
that,
that 4 tight ends on your roster is just is a boner buster. It is. It's like
Hey,
the
Smalls.
It's just
Cut
not.
it out over there.
It's just not where I want to be.
Smalls.
It's a little bit upsetting.
Smalls.
It's a little bit upsetting. That's to me
Wrap it up.
when I'm talking about 53-man
It's a
rosters.
kiss from a rose.
How
as soon
many
as he's
how many
gone.
53-man rosters have you done in your lifetime? And I know you've done a lot, and I know I've done a lot.
I
You-
do them. It's so bizarre.
Like you never do 4 tight ends ever.
No.
100% of the time. 100% of the time. Like unless
No.
you have like
No, it's between 2 and 3.
fantasy-
it's between 2 and 3.
In
Always.
fantasy, I was known as the tight end guy.
Oh, I don't
Well, you
deny
should
that
have
at
seen
all.
the outfit
Which
he
is why
wears.
I don't
He
do
wears annually to the
fantasy
fantasy
anymore.
football draft.
The outfits don't fit anymore. I just stopped doing fantasy. 'cause
Assless
the
chaps and the
outfits-
quadriplegic are just,
the
you
outfits
know,
got too
we've
tight.
lived and we've learned.
I got too tight.
Yeah, we have.
We've
I
broken
give
a
it
lot of
up.
stories here. I think the thing we broke tonight is Robert Seals Ricky Seals Jones is not long for this team because nobody carries 4 tight ends.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's like nobody beats the Wiz. I mean, it's just straight Seinfeld
Or
style.
nobody beats
the
Biz. by the
Nobody
way.
beats the Biz as well. All right. Hey, so week off from the NFL. Apparently, we get this just 1
College,
year.
man.
It's
college
week
week
one.
one.
Officially week 1.
can't
So
wait,
college
man. I
football. It's
cannot
also
wait.
it's also Labor Day weekend. Anyone going anywhere
Best
fun?
weekend of the year.
Doing anything fun? Cookouts, barbecues, birthdays?
We'll figure out something.
Okay,
We
okay.
always
What-
do.
We
I
always
think
do.
it's called
always
Liquor 46.
we might have to
something
change-
46.
we
Was
might have
it
to change it up this
46?
year a little
There's
bit.
46. I'm smelling a 4 and a 6.
Oh,
I'm smelling a 4
Between
and a
now
6.
and next week, somebody has a birthday.
The oldest balls at First Amendment Sports.
All the way over there. The tight end guy. In case you're wondering
The
who it is,
tight end
it's
guy.
the tight end guy.
Sorry, I looked. I looked at
Yeah,
that.
you
I
looked.
I wanted to see if they looked gray.
46 years old. Let me be the first to say happy birthday.
Yeah, man. Friday.
Appreciate
Always a Labor Day treat. As long as I can remember, we celebrate this man's old
Yep.
balls on
Yep.
this weekend with a staycation.
With a staycation.
We never leave, man.
No, why
We stick
would you,
right in
man?
town.
No.
You just had the first day of school. You're going to try and get back out? No, you should have already gotten out. Now you're back in.
Gotta stay.
Understand it. Cheers. All right, now you
thank
pulled
you.
that
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
thought we kind of did the
Well, I didn't know. Yeah.
cheers to you guys.
I'm low, but the AGH asking about Caleb, and no, he's not starting for Oklahoma. That spot is currently
Should
reserved
be.
for the apparently greatest college football player in the history of
Should
college
be.
football, which
Yeah.
I don't personally understand, but it's not like I don't think Spencer Rattler's a good player. He is.
Of course.
I don't agree with.
I'm
Okay,
miffed.
hold
world
on.
being
Here's the
missed on
deal.
this
I also didn't
know
think
we
Mac
all-
Jones
we
would
all
be
watched
starting.
the show. We all watched the show, and Spencer
Yeah.
Rattler was kind of a prick when he was a junior in high school. I get it. How about this? Spencer Rattler might win the
That's not
Heisman.
playing.
He's currently
Yes.
favored to win the Heisman.
Yes.
If he
I
gets
don't
hurt,
see it.
if he gets hurt, I believe their offense loses nothing and gains.
Oh,
Correct.
Caleb.
That's
Caleb
all I'm
Williams,
saying.
the freshman.
That's all I'm saying. But I don't think
Yeah.
he deserves to be starting over Spencer Rattler. I understand how programs work, and this is but I'm telling you, if Spencer Rattler goes out for a week, and Caleb, the story of Wally Pipp, who went to Catholic University, my dad told me forever, he missed one game in his whole entire career, and Lou Gehrig took over for him and never relinquished the spot.
I
That
think-
man went to the college I went to.
I think somebody
Don't
told
let it
Cam,
happen, bro.
Cam Newton that story today too.
Well, Cam already had his. Cam's on the
Yeah,
back end.
that's true,
Cam just got $3.5 million for what? Showing up to run training camp. I get it, but I'm gonna tell you what. In goal line situations, no longer can Belichick say just run Cam Newton because Mac Jones they'll have to bust out the sundial. But you know what?
Over under on rushing TDs for Mac Jones this season.
There's got to be a sneak. They're great sneakers. You know that, right? Tom Brady was a great quarterback sneaker. So
You know what?
But I'm gonna say 2.5.
You know what I find interesting?
I think so. But quarterback sneakers, they're great at it.
$5 he gets.
They
one.
are good at it. They're
All right,
on
I'll
fourth and
take
one,
that one.
on
But
touchdowns.
I don't believe in it.
Touchdowns.
I
You're
don't
talking about
believe in
touchdown
it.
runs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The thing about Mac Jones,
Touchdowns only.
that
Rushing touchdowns only.
everyone gives him a hard time. We've given him a hard time. A lot of people who've been bashing him have been like, "Well, yeah, of course. He played with like literally the greatest college football athletes that anyone's ever had a chance to play with, collectively speaking.
Oh God, 14 D1 prospects, 3 starting quarterbacks, 4 first-round receivers.
14 first-round picks all across the roster of the team that hold down some hardware. But then I think and I say, okay, that's fine. That made his college job easier, but when you play in the National Football League, like everyone's effing good. Like you're like splitting hairs of like truly great and pretty darn good, and so maybe like being used to playing with the best players is helpful when you come
I agree
to
with
the
you.
NFL. Maybe
I
I mean
agree
you know
with
what I mean.
that.
Like I can understand like you can
Ron
hide.
Rivera,
this guy
Ron
knows his
Rivera
role.
already said, I think today or yesterday, that Cosme, his growth in just camp playing against Chase Young and Montez Sweat has
Yep.
made him immeasurably better at what he can do.
Yep.
That's what you do.
Listen,
Iron
I
sharpens iron.
have sat here and I've made fun of Matt Jones for his titty bombers and his weird-looking nipples.
Yep. They are a little.
I'm just
The
saying.
cigar, like the
the
cigar,
cigar
made
with
him
like
look
the
out.
fat boy, or like the. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you right now, man. I don't think he's not a freaking superstar at the position.
He can play.
Just the NFL's a different place, and the way we're trending, you just said Chase.
I never said superstar. I said
No, I know that. I know that. I'm not saying that.
like
No. We're not in total disagreement. But Chase Young and Montez Sweat are who I'm thinking about. Mac Jones trying to escape from. Now I know he'll know how to do it in a different way. But if he actually has to try and run from them, like somewhere, I'm glad to be at WFT.
He's going to get 2 touchdowns because no one expected him to run the ball in the first place.
I also believe that someone, as a rookie, is going to give him the business one time, and he's going to be put in an awkward position. And it's going to be not a great highlight, but Tom Brady was not a great highlight either. There's only one Tom Brady. Mac Jones, good luck out there, brother. I think Bill Belichick done lost his mind, and I'm not certain.
He's going without a net. But the cool thing about Mac Jones is, so there's 32 starting jobs in the league. Most of them are held down for multiple seasons, multiple seasons. You know, the best 10 quarterbacks in the league are typically there for 4 or 5. At least they're past a rookie contract or for a long-term free agent contract. The amount of jobs are so small. The game has changed fundamentally over the last 10 or 15 years, all the way down to the high school level. But at the college level especially, it's been increasingly pass-happy, and it's only gotten more so. It's always been a little bit that way. It's only gotten more so. And so you have a lot of guys at the Division I college level who can spin the ball. Some of them have strong arms. Some of them are accurate underneath. Some of them can run.
And
some of them have moves.
And
some of them have moves.
And they're not all at your Power 5 schools.
And they're not. Exactly. They're everywhere. And so
no longer.
They're all over the place.
Ultimately, it comes down, cold hard reality-wise, it comes down to opportunities. Like, who gets a shot? When he was drafted, he was clearly the backup. Cam Newton was a starter. He was just signed. He played last year. And Mac Jones is going to work his way into the job. And every year, and for the last few, we've seen some situations where a guy gets a chance. Hell, Tom Brady. When guys just get an opportunity and then they just take it by the horns and run with it. Mac Jones has that kind of opportunity to be a guy who we thought, okay, maybe he could play in the league. Maybe he's going to back up Cam Newton. Maybe he can be a guy for 4 or 5 years. But now he has a chance to be like that special guy who starts from week 1, gets a professional team that's behind him. He has literally no one behind him on the depth chart, and one of the greatest football coaches of all time who said, "You're my guy." Like that opportunity doesn't happen very often, and he's getting it. That's huge.
20-some years later, after he drafted the first pair of moves, he's going back for a second pair of moves.
He's double moving.
And as Washington football team fans, we had Sonny Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer. Like, we had the greatest moved quarterbacks that anyone ever thought about, and I'm kind of pissed about this.
Quad moves.
Yeah, we had.
He's a move guy.
Oh, we had guys that we had like people were like, I like Sonny, I like Billy. Like, well, they both had moves. So
plenty of move for everyone.
Yeah. George Allen was like,
move to go around all day long. It was like a move buffet.
It was.
It was.
It really was.
So I'll ask you guys this, and I'll ask the board this, and I'll ask you to come back next week with a thought, if you remember, between now and next Tuesday. It's a long time between now and then.
Remember move.
Let's come up with some examples.
A move is a life, T said. Boom.
That's next level. That is next level.
My mind's blown.
Oh,
my moves.
Actually,
all my moves are so erect.
I don't know if anybody
Oh, God.
T, I'm so proud
God,
of
I
you.
can't handle it on his
It's
birthday
like my
weekend.
proudest moment.
I can't handle it on his birthday weekend. My moves are going nuts.
I don't think
If
you've ever
anybody knows what that means, please tell us right now.
Yes. You know what? I could actually probably play the clip. But
We
anyways,
just sing happy birthday to T now and just sign off. Holy.
That's not.
Fair enough.
We're 2.5 minutes over.
all right. So we won't do that. But at the end of the day, I want to ask everybody on the board, and I want to ask you too. Let's think of let's come next week with a couple guys specifically at the quarterback position
I'm not coming with any guys.
who didn't have. You bring the girls. You've established that at the beginning of the show. You bring the ladies. Our two ladies.
Bring my
They're
daughters.
because of you.
They're the only two I could probably get to go.
They're because of you.
Only because they're going to stay up late.
Don't be so confident.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Huge reminder to Kevin and I
M&Ms.
that no girls watch for us. Quarterbacks who you think would have been greats had they gotten the same kind of opportunity Mac Jones is getting. Because I'm going to argue, and I'm going to look at. I'm going to argue. There's guys who've been beaten
All
out
right,
of
the
sleep.
first name that pops into my mind is old Clubfoot Peterson.
Clubfoot Peterson.
Yep.
Hold
Clubfoot
on to
Pete-
that. You're gonna hold on to that.
I was going to
we're
say
come back
Dusty
next week.
Gun or something like that. I don't
Sorry, next week. This is
Next
for
week. This is for next week.
I ruined Clubfoot.
You have a whole week to figure out how to beat me up on this one. What I want to say, we're going bleacher style. Which is the old school.
You know, Mac
a little bit of
Jones
a deep
did a
cut.
lot to get to where he is. By the
Of
way.
course, of course.
No one just said, "Hey, you."
It just took forever.
Here you
That's
go.
all.
Yeah.
It
Hey,
it
but
took so long.
countless white guys with moves have not gotten chances to play quarterback in the NFL. I could.
Here's
That list
one of
runs
them.
all day
There's
long.
another one. There's three of us right here. Look.
Yeah, the
Show
world
up,
is
show
full
up.
of guys with moves
Right.
who aren't getting a chance to
World
be
is filled
the
with
only
guys with
quarterback.
moves. Yeah.
Hey, what position are you? Quarterback. Oh, that's great. Like, who's your backup? No, we just have one. We just have one
He's
quarterback
got two.
in New England. No, there's just one. He cut everybody. He cut Hoyer, cut Cam Newton. He said, you know what? He's gonna go University of Maryland style and throw like a linebacker out there if he has to. I mean, it's gonna get weird real fast in New England.
I think it already did. He casually gazed into his eyes and high-fived him at like mid-level like this. I've never seen that before, Brady. I don't know. I think Bill Belichick's lost
high-five?
it. I'm telling you, it's Tampa Bay anxiety. It's Arians. Someone shows up with Bruce Arians. He's like, quick, give me someone with moves. Stat!
It was like the Bryson DeChambeau fist pump
Oh,
with Patrick
oh,
Cantley.
What a great! I'm telling you, I watched every second and I was enthralled. That was amazing. We don't have to talk about it. We'll talk about it
Can
later.
I just
but
ask you this?
Holy crap!
Is Bryson DeChambeau a sympathetic figure for you, sports-wise?
Sympathetic?
Yes, I'm asking the question to you. Just
No, he's the most arrogant. I appreciate him.
I'm asking.
I don't
I
hate
don't
him,
understand
but
the vitriol.
sympathetic is
for him.
not.
I really don't. I really,
Really?
don't. Is he just quirky?
He's only quirky.
Well, I mean,
I like quirky, but
I don't know.
I don't like someone. He was
I don't know
whistling.
why there's so
he
much
was
hate.
whistling. He was whistling, and he called him out when he was walking. They kept saying that. And
said, "Don't walk.
and
Stop
Cantley,
walking."
and Cantley just didn't respond. And he was the one talking trash, and Cantley didn't bite onto the hook. He didn't try and eat the worm.
Yeah, but
He
he's prickly too. He's abrasive.
Yeah,
On the course,
I never
apparently.
want to watch an athletic event aside from Michael Jordan where someone licks their lips with such extreme lipping motions.
Yeah.
And it was
I
tough.
know.
But you know, the worst part of the day was DeChambeau whistling after he hit his monster bubble, like he hit on 18, 97 times in a row. He stood there, and as he's facing Cantley, just inside the tee box, whistling at a. Like, I can do this in my sleep.
I hate that. I
Well,
hated
guess
that.
what? I'm going to be 30 yards behind you, but I'm going to catch up. The tortoise in the hare, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. Because you know who we are, gentlemen? The Washington football team is Patrick Cantley.
Yeah.
And guess who we're going to be? We're going to be hitting them DeChambeau drives at 350 within the next year or two with what we've got coming. But we started off like
make
this
me
guy.
hate
We
the
didn't make any bones about it. He's a weird dude, Ace. You love that. He's a weird dude. That's
weird
it.
dude, Ace.
He just doesn't fit into the same. And I don't mind a PGA golfer out of the norm. In fact, I love it. I always have.
I just
DeChambeau
felt-
doesn't seem like the type of guy I want to go have a beer with tonight.
his feud with what's his name?
Kepka.
Kepka.
Brooksy.
thought
I don't
Brooksy-
want to have a beer with
I
any
thought-
of those
I
two
thought Brooksy-
stiff
Brooksy
white
looked more
nerds.
douchey
Sorry.
than- Brooksy
Tony
came off
Finau
more
for me.
douchey to me.
What are they gonna? We're gonna drink protein, or we're gonna have like some whiskey? I don't know.
Brooks
they just
was
don't. They have
more-
no
he was more
personality to me.
douchey.
They're so
He was
rich.
They're
more
both
douchey to
super
me.
douchey. They're
Super
both
douchey.
super
Yeah.
douchey.
I agree.
But I hear exactly what you're saying. I can't believe we didn't get a like on the lips comment, but it'll come. Maybe we're on delay. We're gonna get there.
Patrick Kent. Oh,
Yeah.
he was like,
Oh,
he was doing the
licking lips.
He,
Yeah.
he can do the nose thing.
Someone saved their like for that. I know they did.
I'm sure there's someone out there that whatever. You know what? It's time. I think it's time to for me to stop talking. You guys can go ahead.
Yeah,
We're now like 4.5, 5 minutes beyond. What we
Really,
should.
the PGA extra innings didn't do it for you?
Well, I mean,
That
you know,
was
maybe
so
for
cool.
some of the people that
It was
just
6
joined us,
playoff
thought it
holes
was
is
funny.
awesome. In a, I think they've like also as a sport or as a sport organization, they have like tightened it up. Like their presentation now, the playoffs, the points, the coming down to it. I mean, that's been happening over the last few years, and they've been. But man, I feel like they're getting it right. Now they haven't had NFL to contend with. They've had a lot of open space. And the pandemic was a ton of open space for golf.
Me and my caddy outside during a pandemic.
A lot of open space on TV and the like. So it's going to get a lot tougher for them because they're basically heading into NFL season and in their championship, and their Sunday league. But it'll be just
they
fine.
all seem so nervous.
Yeah, they're going to be
They don't give
just
two
fine. They just announced today, since we're talking about it, purchases went up $35 million for the golf tours next year. I mean, they're just raking it in. It's so amazing. I love watching.
I do too.
You know what I watched a lot of, and I'm sure that'll change now that the NFL's back, and we're gonna get eventually back to NHL and NBA.
Strachan.
The
get
the
that
tournaments
jersey
where the guys earn their cards, like the amateurs and the tournaments where they get a chance to potentially get that invite to the U.S. Opens, the Masters, the British Opens, or exemptions.
Qualifiers.
Yeah, it's because you know what. Talk about there's drama, I guess, between Patrick Cantley and Bryson DeChambeau, but that's basically two millionaires putting it out at the end, and they're great at what they do, and it's the highest form of competition on the sport. I get it, but on a Sunday afternoon when two guys are putting it out, one of them is about to get a professional job and be able to live in his van in cities on the professional tour. The other guy's gonna be living in his van in cities on the not the professional tour, and that 6-foot putt, and you're watching that 6-foot putt. That's pretty compelling sports drama. So I will. That has been exciting. I have found a way to tune into those, but it's NFL time, and I'll be. You know what? I'll leave. Let's go out on the one position we never had a question about. We never had an issue with.
If he says kicker, I'm going to throw something at him.
Oh no, I wanted to cut Dustin Hopkins all day. I was waiting for that cut. I was praying for it. I still don't forgive him for the London game against the Cincinnati Bengals, where I caught a flu apparently during that game.
Thank you.
But that's neither here nor there. It's the quarterback position.
Oh.
I look forward to a video, and this is one of the times when I'm prophetic. A video of Ron Rivera in a locker room or a meeting room with the entire team where he says, I wanted to talk to you guys about this first, and I wanted to tell you, your guy this year is Ryan Fitzpatrick. When he announces to the team, which everyone knows the answer already, but that's what he does. He says the first people that know who our starting quarterback is are the players on the team. Now we know who those 53 guys are. I'm telling you, I think we're going to get a video this week where he walks into that room and he says, I got a guy for you guys who I believe in, and I know you believe in too. He's been showing it to you every day. Ever since he got here, he's been on the same page as me. He's been on the same page as us. He's been here for you. He's never, for 1 second, not been 100 billion% on the bus. His name is Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he's your starting quarterback this year. Congratulations, Ryan. That's what we're going to see, I think, very soon, I hope. And everything's a made-for-Twitter moment. That's going to happen. It's going to be an awesome moment. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 39 years old. Is
going to start a slow clap after that?
Oh, no. It's gonna be a lot of grown men getting nuts in a locker room about a 39-year-old bearded dude.
Sure, Heineke's gonna be like, yeah.
Sounds more
This
slow
was great
clappy.
for me.
I think that's what's coming.
Monarchs.
It's exciting, and when we tried him out in week 1 and asked him to lead our offense against the Chargers, I'm gonna be feeling in a way I haven't felt in a long time in a week 1 situation with the quarterback, and I didn't think it would be with the 39-year-old guy.
I believe he is going to be the most exciting, for better or for worse, mostly for better, starting quarterback we've had since
I can't wait.
Since probably
wait.
RG3's rookie year.
Yes, that would be
down
fair.
the stretch.
I
That
can't
would be
wait for
fair.
the
Before
video.
that is going to be a minute.
That's
'cause the most
2012.
exciting.
That's 2012.
Would be Mark Rippon's last year, ripping the NFL apart for the most passing yards and one of the best offenses at that point in the history of the sport.
I can't wait for the video where after a game, after Ryan Fitzpatrick has just laid his nuts out on the field and played his balls off.
That's going to be a hell of a nutball video.
Balls. We got
And
them
Ron
both.
Rivera hands him the ball after the game. Says,
Nuts, balls,
this
and
is-
balls?
This is your guy.
We got nuts and multiple balls? All right. And Rivera? I think it's going to go viral.
That's when people are
Just
gonna-
my prediction.
But that's when they're going
TBT,
to.
what's
That's
up?
when they're going to go nuts.
TBT.
That's
TBT
when
will
they're
That's when they're going to go nuts.
We're going to be there on Saturday.
It's going to be
CBT.
nuts, balls, and nuts,
gonna
and
be
balls.
balling out.
All right.
the
On a
locker room.
non-nuts or balls programming note, you will be able to see us on Saturday calling football on the week off. You ask what we're going to be doing on this week off? We're going to be
squashing my
calling
grapes,
high
dude.
school football. St. John's College versus Butler.
Excellent transition, Marangolo. And T. Strachan, how do you feel about Ken's transition? But yes, we've got some high school
Come hang out with us on Saturday.
sports
It's
to
going to be awesome.
cover this weekend on the
We
gridiron.
look forward to that, but we also look forward to talking to you guys next Tuesday night on part 2 of the Irregardless episode, because at the end of the day, irregardless of the fact that there's no football for an entire 12 days, that we've already picked our right. This is like the most anticlimactic 12 days in the history of professional football.
I know.
But irregardless,
I've been watching a lot of murder ball
show was going on.
Paralympics.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
That's been very entertaining. There's stuff out there. You can
It's
you gotta
very.
look.
By the way, that's a
You
very
gotta look.
physical sport.
It is. It's awesome.
It
It's
is
a lot of fun
awesome.
to watch.
We will be AGH. I believe it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. You'll find us. You'll get the word out. Subscribe. You'll see it. We'll let everyone know where we're going to be one way or the other. We'll be back here on Tuesday night talking about what basically is lead up to
Chargers.
Week 1 against the San Diego. Scratch that. Los Angeles Chargers. To me, they'll always be San Diego, and they need to move back immediately. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Michael Williams, Austin Eckler, Bosa. Good players coming to town.
Yeah.
I don't think they got it like we got it. We'll talk about it next week. Until then, he's Tim Strachan.
Appreciate it. I got nothing else to say.
He's Kevin
We're
Ricker.
about
I
seven-
missed
7
last
minutes
week.
past.
Every time I miss, I love to say, man, I miss it because I love it. This board is sick. This basement's sick. Rhett's I think it's called a crab walk in these parts. I mean, obviously he's a local resident. Everyone was on their game tonight, and I appreciate it. Across the board and around the table.
Appreciate that. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I am Ken Marangolo. We only got 4 likes during the show tonight, guys. We're going to make that a thing. We're going to get more than 4 next week. Appreciate you guys. Until next week, peace. We're still live.
Moves for a life.
No, come on. That's not what
A
we
move
said.
is a life.
It's a wily bunch.
That didn't get any. They didn't get any likes. How did that not get likes?